Okay. So StreamYard has let me know that I'm live. Now I just gotta wait for YouTube to let you know that I'm live, but y'all not even waiting around, man. It's already like 20 of you all already here in the chat, ready to rock and roll with me and my dude, Marquez, who will be here shortly. I'm just waiting for YouTube to send out that notification so the rest of the people that want to watch the podcast can come and join us, and we will begin. Hopefully you all are doing well. Happy Monday to you all. This your boy Viper. Y'all know where you're at. This will be episode 76 of VypDrive, which is kind of crazy. This is going to be a busy week for the podcast. Marquez is the first of 5 guests this week. And there is the notification. All right, so the notification has officially gone out. Now we can get into the festivity. But yeah, Marquez is the first of 5 guests on the podcast this week. And this is not the only VypDrive that's happening tonight. At 8 o'clock Eastern, my man Technically T is going to be a guest on the show tonight. So make sure you guys come back later on for that. But right now, let's get into the introduction and bring in Marquez. Don't want to hold him up. So, this is VypDrive episode 76. And with it, bring the king of tech back to the podcast. That's right. For the 3rd time in the history of the show, Marquez Brownlee, Mkbhd himself, is here to hang out and talk about tech with your boy Viper. VypDrive, episode 76, starts now. What's up, people? This your boy Viper, the man about tech, and welcome back to another episode of VypDrive. This is the podcast about tech, hosted by the man about tech. And as I alluded to in my introduction, I have the king of tech on the line. Let me bring in my dude, Mr. Mkbhd himself, Marquez Brownlee. What's going on, man? How you doing?
What's good, man? Long time no talk. How you been?
I've been good. How you been holding up during this whole situation that we're in, man?
I'm doing all right. I'm grateful to have a job on the internet where I can keep going. So it's a good time to be here.
No doubt, man. I know that's right, man. It's nice to be able to like work for yourself and be in a situation where, like I said, we are fortunate enough to work from home or work anywhere, being creators and things like that. But before I get started with you tonight, can you please explain to my listeners and the people that are watching the live stream what you have on your head?
I got the Sennheiser HD820s. The whole setup is very temporary. A lot of weird stuff floating around here. Grabbed the headphones that were at my desk, and I usually get the AirPods Pro, but these are some big old headphones.
See, the people that are listening via audio, they can't appreciate just how ginormous these things are on his head. But these things are huge. He almost looks like Mega Man, dude. It's crazy.
They sound great though. Worth it.
I do not doubt it. All right, so the first place I want to start with you today is the last video that you did. You did a video. You made an articulate video. I don't know. I don't remember how long. I think it was like 7 to 8 minutes, talking about the $700 Mac Pro wheels. You went for 7 to 8 minutes articulating an actual review of a pair of computer wheels, but it was a little bit more than that, though. The video was interesting to me because you were talking about the reasoning and the purpose of Apple selling a set of $700 wheels. I think you were trying to say, if I'm correct, that Apple don't really need to charge that much money for the wheels, but they are charging that much money to keep up appearances, maybe maintain their ideology of being a luxury brand. So I just want you to go into what you were trying to say in that video, because when you think about it, it's kind of weird because we all know Apple as a luxury brand. So Apple doesn't really need to charge $700 for a set of wheels to maintain that image. But I'll let you elaborate since it's your video.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating product, and we all saw the headlines when it came out. But there's 4 wheels for the Mac Pro, $700. The headlines are like, "What? This is ridiculous. Why would they even offer this? Why is the price so high?" All that stuff. And there's a couple other Apple products like this that have sort of come up over the years. So I sort of summarized it all that, Apple, like you mentioned, does have this image of a luxury brand, especially in tech. Mm-hmm. Outside of tech, there's the Louis Vuittons and the Supremes and Gucci's, whatever. But like in tech, when you think of that hierarchy, Apple's up at the top of like people will pay more for Apple products. The whole point of this is that doesn't just happen effortlessly. They have to constantly think about how to manicure their image and constantly, upgrade and make sure people continue to remember that that's where they're at in this hierarchy. And part of that strategy is every once in a while, there's a sacrificial product where it just is flat out super expensive and there's no good reason for it. Or they just make a super expensive product for no good reason. So the Mac Pro, who is buying? I would love to know how many people are actually buying the wheels for the Mac Pro. What % of custom orders actually tack on the $400 wheels at purchase? Very, very few. Mm-hmm. But they decided to make wheels, and they also decided this is one of those products that we're just going to go unnecessarily way too far on. They'll be great wheels, but they're going to be expensive. Another version of this, another example of this was the Apple Watch. You might remember the Edition. Right. I think it was the Series 2 or 3.
It was the 0.
That they started with the Edition. So they've had this right off the bat. We're like, oh, okay, you know what? Watches are fashion. Okay, I think we can go super hard and make a $10,000 to $12,000, $17,000 gold-plated version of this. And yeah, it is a nice watch and it's got gold in it, but it's a paperweight 3 years later. It's clearly overpriced, but they continue to do this, and they have their version of an overpriced luxury product that no one's really mad they can't buy. Because again, who's buying the Mac Pro's wheels? Who's buying the gold Apple Watch? But who's buying the Supreme brick? Who's buying the Gucci belt? Like, these are not really things to get mad at not being able to buy, but they're thinking about how to tweak their image in ways where they still have those stratospheric products. So that was the whole video. I just sort of tucked it into like a 9 minutes of like half reviewing the wheel and then half talking about this strategy.
That is absolutely bananas. Shout out to my man Renee Ritchie for the super chat. Thank you, sir. Thank you, love us both. We love you too, Renee. We love you too, baby. So, like I said, this whole idea is kind of crazy that Apple would charge $700 for a set of computer wheels, and like you alluded to earlier, they charged $17,000 for the original Apple Watch Edition. Now, we know that Apple, like over the course of their 40-plus year history, they have built up that reputation as a luxury brand. So I don't know. I just find it kind of crazy that they would feel the need to go way out the ballpark to overcharge, I should say, for a product that they know people are probably not going to buy. Do you think this is probably because they have way too much cash and they don't know what to do with it, and they can afford to take these hits, or like you said, maybe it's just they're really trying to keep up that appearance more or less?
I don't even know if it's taking a hit. Like, they make these, we saw the memes and everything, but like, are they really taking a hit by pricing the Mac Pro wheels at $700 instead of $200? Like, how bad is that really for Apple? I think they can, every time they decide how high they're going to price something, they're always thinking about their margins and how many they're going to sell and what type of volumes will turn into profits. And, the Mac Pro's wheels is one of those things where they could have made it $1,000. They could have made it $100. They're nice wheels, but I think some products just fall directly into that. We're going to go above and beyond for almost no good reason. And that's just because we're Apple and we have the engineers to throw out this thing. So there it is, $700 wheels.
That is absolutely bananas. The crazy thing is, when they came out with the updated Mac Pro, I think, what was it, a few months ago, when people went to like see how much it is maxed out, it came out to over $50,000 for a maxed out Mac Pro.
It's my favorite thing every year. Every time a new Apple computer comes out, I always look for that article about how much the maxed out one costs, because it's going to get written.
Oh, of course.
And Apple knows it's going to get written, and everybody knows it's going to get written. Here's a fun fact. If you're at an Apple briefing behind the scenes and are waiting for that, embargo to drop, they don't tell you how much the maxed out version costs. They say the Mac Pro starts at $69.99 or $79, whatever it is. And then someone always asks, how much is the maxed out one? And they go, well, you can check our site when they go live and figure that out for yourself. And everyone always does and writes an article. So it's pretty fun.
El Jefe, thank you, sir. I appreciate you, El Jefe. I appreciate you, man. Okay, so we got Roberto in here talking about free press. Do you believe part of it is because Apple wants those press headlines like, okay, $700 wheels, $17,000 Apple Watch? They know no one's going to buy this stuff, but they know that people like you, me, and everybody else who actually cover this outlandish happenings that they put out there. So do you believe, Marquez, that a lot of it may have to do with Apple wanting that press?
Some of it. I think a lot of it just comes from Apple is such a well-covered, well-followed company that literally anything and everything they do will be taken and written about and studied and learned about from their competitors and their fans and everything. So I think they know those articles are going to get written. Like every time they come out, they spec bump the new MacBook Pro. Like someone's going to write an article about every little bit about that thing, including how much the max priced one is. Do I think Apple's going out and thinking of a headline and then making a product to make the headline? No, I don't think they don't care that much about, a couple articles, but, because Apple does so many high profile things, people are going to, cover them. And I think Apple's aware of that ahead of time.
I think you're right, man. I mean, like you said, anything that Apple does, even low profile things get covered ad nauseum by the media. So that's no surprise there. Yeah. Shout out to the poet for the $20 super chat. Apparently he met you at a CF Marquez, so that's legit. That's what's up. So we got a lot of iPhone 12 rumors out there, Marquez. A lot of them are from our good buddy John Prosser. Today, him and Everything Apple Pro were talking about how the iPhone 12 could come with ProMotion. I know that's a big thing for you. You love your 120 hertz refresh phones and things like that. But there's also reports that Apple may nerf the feature because they might feel like it doesn't meet their battery requirement for the newer iPhones. So being a big proponent of ProMotion like you are, 120 hertz refresh rate, et cetera, how would you feel if the new iPhones this year were not able to have that ProMotion on board?
Disappointed. Very disappointed. I think this is a year like every flagship to me, if you're going to charge that kind of money, needs to have higher refresh rate. And I know there's always the naysayers of like, it's not really that big a deal. I can't see the difference. And to that point, the iPhone is the smoothest feeling 60 hertz phone. Mm-hmm. But when you use that iPad Pro and you use some other 120 hertz devices, it becomes very clear that this is a market improvement in a lot of uses. So I would love to see it. I would be really disappointed if they didn't, and they still charge $1,000 for a 60 hertz phone. That's one of those big features. If they don't have it, I'll be pretty sad.
Now, me and you have had our discussion about ProMotion before. I'm one of the ones who think it's kind of overrated, but I have used the device with a 120 hertz refresh rate, and I can confirm there is definitely a different feel to it than a regular 60 hertz device. It doesn't change how you use that device per se, but there is a feel when you're using that 120 hertz device as opposed to a normal 60 hertz. So I will give you that. There's definitely a different feel there.
Yeah, there's a lot of good features that don't change the way you use the device. They just make it more fun, and it's a better quality experience. A better camera, like the Pixel 4 having an amazing camera. I might take some more photos, but I'm not changing the way I use the phone, but I still want a good camera.
Right. Okay, so I've been watching you for a long time, and you are probably one of the best tech teachers I think I've ever seen on the platform. So I need you to have give us a teaching moment today. There's been this talk around the tech space about how some of us tech reviewers, we kind of forget that when we're making these. Whoa, what you got going on over there?
My lights. I can turn them back on. My lights are on a sensor right now. See, part of being in a new construction is a lot of stuff is not set yet, and they automatically turn off after half an hour. Let me turn them back on. Hold on.
All right, y'all. See, this is why you got to come to the live streams, you all, because anything and everything can happen in these live streams. We back in the building, baby. We back.
There we go. Sorry, where were we? Teaching moment.
Teaching moment, yes. So there have been some discussion lately about how us as tech reviewers, we kind of forget who our target audience is. We kind of forget that a lot of people that are thinking about tech and into tech, or obviously our core audience is the hardcore tech nerds. They know what they're looking for. They know what to expect, things like that. But there's a larger population out there that doesn't necessarily understand all the technological terms that we use in our videos and things like that. So I think we need to get better about communicating with those people. So I want you, Marquez, real quick, to take us through what exactly does it mean for the everyday person that doesn't know anything about tech. What do we mean, Marquez, when we say 120 hertz refresh rate, ProMotion? Exactly, can you break that down in layman's terms?
Yeah, I think it's important. I I'll start off wide by just saying, like, my videos, because I feel like I'm speaking to this large audience, I'm oftentimes taking this complex, some people call it jargon, or more specific words, and trying to break them down into not too dumb, not like 5-year-old dumb, but like bringing them down so everyone can understand and actually appreciate what's happening. So yes, high refresh rate. So most screens, desktop screens, phone screens for the past however many years have a refresh rate where the image on the screen refreshes 60 times every second. It's called a 60 hertz display, right? And this is fine. If you're just looking at a still photo, it could refresh 1 time per second and it will be fine. A picture frame can refresh 10 times per second, and the scrolling is kind of choppy, but it's fine. A desktop monitor, 60 frames per second, that's been fine for years. But in the gaming world, where you want to get more information more quickly, where you want to be able to see more things happening faster, it's become much more popular to have a higher refresh rate display, where you'll go 120 hertz, 144 hertz, 240 hertz. And that just means it's refreshing and displaying a new image 240 times every second. Which of course means if something happens in a split second that you wouldn't have seen on a 60 hertz display, now you're seeing that information that you wouldn't have seen before. And there's plenty of sweet visuals that can explain this better. So that's one of the major things. The other half of this calculation is response time, but I won't get into that. Basically, the idea is now that these smartphones are also getting higher refresh rate screens, you have more information at a faster rate, the same way those desktop screens were. So things like scrolling, things like playing games, you will see twice as much information every second, and things will be twice as smooth as you scroll and as you move around the UI. So it's one of those feel features, one of those things that you use and notice sometimes, and other times you're just scrolling through Instagram and Twitter, you don't notice it. But I think it's a great feature, obviously.
Okay. What am I listening to here? Hold on.
That live stream.
Like, what am I listening to? Shout out to the poet for becoming a channel member. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. But Marquez, I think you hit it right on the head. Like, I think you said it's kind of a big deal for gamers, right? Because when you're gaming, you want the ability to be able to respond instantly. Obviously, if you're playing against somebody with a 60 hertz display and you're gaming on a 120 hertz display, your response time can be faster than that person that you're going against. So when, like you said, when you're talking about gaming on monitors like with 120 hertz or 240 hertz even, you have an advantage over your competition who is not gaming at with a refresh rate that high. So it especially comes into play when you're gaming and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not even a huge gamer. I just have a high refresh rate screen just because it looks good.
Yeah, and like I said, I agree with you with the fact that it does provide for a smoother, more buttery experience. If we can say that, it's kind of interesting because, like you were saying earlier, iPhones at 60 hertz run and feel buttery smooth, but when you multiply that by 2, like we have on the S20 Ultra, getting pretty nice, man.
Yeah.
So you just completed the big move to your new studio. I think a lot of you had to do by yourself given the current pandemic. So how has that been for you, moving out of your old studio and into the new studio?
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's obviously a lot of work, but it's also really satisfying. It's like the fact that I've gotten so much done, and like I get to do it exactly the way I want. That's like also kind of satisfying. So I've been working on the layout. There's obviously thousands of square feet behind me, and half of it's set up, half of it is half set up, and there's different, goals we have with each space. But basically, I've just been moving stuff from the previous studio down into here. And then as we get furniture and like build stuff like that table I built, this desk I'm on, I built, like there's a ton of stuff behind me that I've just been screwing in Allen wrenches for hours all day. So a lot of it's done. And I think a lot more now is just going to be mostly acoustics because it's obviously a big empty box. And when you get in a big empty box, sound waves just bounce back and forth, and they just echo forever. The ceiling's pretty high too. It's higher than the previous space actually. So getting things that both absorb sound and diffuse sound in ways that can make certain spots in here sound dead in a way, which just means less reflections and less reverberation. That's my goal. So I feel like I'm like halfway done making what I wanted to make, you know?
I would ask you how long do you think it would take to like fill out everything the way that you want it in the new studio, but given the current situation, it's probably going to take well into next year, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I mean, I've had, help with basically one day where I had Andrew come in. We both had our masks on and we moved like the massive pieces of furniture that I physically can't move by myself. Yeah, I think it's going to be a couple more months. I have days where sometimes it's kind of frustrating. I'll like put up a whole bunch of acoustic panels and then turns out they didn't really fit right in the dimensions. And then the next day I'll rip them all down and put them up somewhere else. So like there's just a lot of that sort of frustrating thing going on. But I think it'll be satisfying in the end when it's just like the ideal high-tech video studio. That's the goal.
Obviously, man, one day at a time, baby, one day at a time. CDF man wants to know, did you grab the door from the old studio?
The door? No. The doors, everything in here is basically new construction around me, and then everything from inside the doors and the walls I got to move.
I think he's alluding to the doors that had your logo on it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe those were decals probably or something, I'm guessing.
There are decals. Yeah, I got new decals that we've cut and started to put on, doors in here too. Yeah.
All right. So you have been alone in the studio for probably over a month or so now because of the current situation. So what has it been like going back to making probably most of your video by yourself, I'm guessing, since you don't have your team with you? Now, I know you're not a newbie to this because you spent the first 6, 7, 8 years of your YouTube life making videos by yourself. But for the last year or two, I think you've had that team. But I'm curious, what has been your experience like going back to being a one-man band for the time being?
It's funny. Yeah, it's definitely a throwback because like, we got into a groove. We had our workflow of like the team production. And so, yeah, making videos by yourself, you can't get like a lot of the shots that you want to make. And I've been keeping almost like the same cadence of videos. So you'll sort of notice there's less robot shots. There's less third person shots. There's less moving shots. There's less obviously less traveling because I can't really go anywhere. So the shot variance in each video, if you actually pay attention to that, is definitely less. But I feel like the throwback is kind of fun of like just being a little more creative, a little more loose with how I want to like approach things. Sometimes I can get the third person shot if I like reach over the camera and like focus and get the monitor spun around, and I can sort of make it work. But yeah, it's a throwback.
I would say that watching your current videos is almost like you still have a team, man. You are so good at what you do that when I watch your videos and your video production, it's like you haven't lost a step, even though you're working by yourself. Obviously, the video quality is still way up there. So shout out to you, man. Kudos to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And another congratulations in order. It seems like every time you join me on a podcast, you have crossed the milestone. So let me congratulate you on 11 million. I mean, that is just insanity, but you've been on the platform long enough and you've done probably the highest quality level of work on the platform in the tech space. So you are well deserving of every single sub, man. So congrats.
Thank you, Viper. I appreciate it.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Okay. We gotta talk about the Tesla. Because that just blew my mind. So this man made a video called World's Fastest Gaming PC. Basically, he has a toy Tesla, one that you can actually drive around. But somehow he went from having a toy Tesla to putting a high-rig gaming PC inside of the toy Tesla. So can you please explain how that whole idea came to be? Because it's one thing to buy a toy Tesla and like have it to drive it around and things like that. It's another matter entirely to put a high-rig PC inside of the toy Tesla. So how did that all come about, man?
That was just a wild project from Origin. So they came to me and they were like, man, we have this idea and it's a custom PC and we just think we're going to like it. Just give us the green light to do something crazy and send it to you. Will you just give us that? I was like, well, yeah, you guys make good stuff. So why would I say no? So yeah, sure. You can, yes, make something. And then they sent it, came in this gigantic box. So I didn't exactly know what I was expecting when I first took it out the box. And this was a couple weeks ago. We got it out the box. This was back in the old studio with the whole team, and we're just like, what is going on? This is it's basically a replica of my old car, gray Model S. And yeah, so you can buy one of those replica toy cars anytime you want. Like this, it's Radio Flyer sells them already. You know, your 3-year-old can sit in it and drive it around. It's got a working pedals and a battery and charges and all that. It's amazing. Open front trunk. And Origin built an entire gaming PC basically in that front trunk of the mini car, and then like wired like the HDMI port and the USB port and the headphone jacks up into the car itself. So if you happen to want to stop driving the car and plug it in and use it as a PC, it's obviously not practical. Like there's no reason anyone needs all that, but it was pretty sick. And obviously the title, fastest gaming PC. So who else's PC goes 6 miles an hour, man? So there it is.
All right, 2 questions. Number 1, have you used it as a PC yet? And number 2, do you get a little nervous driving it around with all that PC equipment in it? Yeah,
man. They did not. So halfway through us making the video, I was like emailing them back, like, this is sick. I'm going to make a video about it. You know, this is super cool. And then they told me, oh, we're also going to sell this. I was like, what? This isn't a one-off? You really think? And I don't even know to this day how many they've sold, if they've sold any. But if you go on their site, it's like 13 grand for this PC in a Tesla. So yeah, I do get a little nervous driving that thing around. But we had our fun in the empty studio, kind of drifting around. The weight limit's 80 pounds. We're not supposed to be sitting in it. Like, obviously it's, we're going a little crazy, but it is in one of these rooms back here. Behind this one and behind the one behind that is a little gaming studio. And that is where it will be sitting and plugged in. Most of its time now will be spent as a PC and not as a car, because who's going to drive it anymore?
I gotta say, it's quite hilarious hearing you say how scared you are to drive around a $13,000 piece of equipment when your regular ride is what, probably, I mean, I'm not gonna get to your personal biz, but gotta be at least 6 figures. I'm guessing you drive around a Tesla for real though.
Yeah, but that's like, you know exactly what you're getting into with an actual car. It's kind of funny. I went from driving that little tiny toy car, because I've always been into driving, and then went back to driving my car, and I was just like, this is so much fun. I have like the giant version. This is amazing.
Right.
But yeah, I've definitely, you know, I drove it like between some of the doors over there, and it's like perfectly fits through the door. So can't get too crazy, but it works.
It actually perfectly fits through the door. Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is crazy, man. That is bananas. So, oh, actually, you know what? TCL sent us out their newest phone. Just curious if you plan on getting your hands on any of these.
See that? Oh man, this brown box right there.
Yep,
that's it.
Ah, okay,
right there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been using these for a few days, and I can definitely tell you, like, for the price and value, they are legit. Definitely looking forward to your thoughts on them, but I mean, if you're anything like me, you will definitely enjoy using these, especially if, like I said, for the price to value ratio. I mean, very impressive.
Yeah.
Now, you were at the, did you like have any interaction with TCL while you were out there, like at their booth or anything?
Briefly, I passed by twice, once on one day just to see what was there. And then the next day I was coming back with a camera shooting I think it was the Dope Tech of CES video, where I included, I think, 2 things from their booth. So I briefly hung out for a bit there. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Nice. Yeah. I keep telling people TCL is coming for everybody's next, man. Apple, Samsung, Google, it doesn't matter who you are. TCL is coming. They're not going away. Be on the lookout.
They're a bigger company than a lot of people realize.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny. People be like, who's TCL? We never heard of TCL. I'm just thinking to myself, oh, but you will.
Yeah. And they had that sick, you saw that demo of the, like the crazy folding phone concept that they did. That's another thing. Like they just have that random, like they'll spin up a factory and spit out like 3 or 4 crazy concepts where you're like, TCL, really? They're the ones? So yeah, no, keep an eye out, because they're working on some pretty interesting stuff. They're coming, man. Yo, Harmon Carl, thank you for the super chat, sir. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Brownlee, we are currently under quarantine, stay at home, all this stuff.
the last time I asked you the question, you said that you don't really do a lot of like TV watching and things like that because you're always busy and things like that. But we are all at home. We all have a lot more extra time on our hands now. So I'm wondering, what does Mkbhd do now these days when he's not filming a video? Because I know you can't film 24/7. You can't travel. You can't really do anything that you normally would do. There's no ultimate frisbee going on. So what do you do to pass the time?
That's the way you put it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Now it's like, all right, Marquez, you don't have frisbee on the weekends. You don't have to make videos every day. You cannot travel. What are you doing in between making videos?
What are you doing?
Honestly, I am building this studio.
Okay.
Every single day I am building the studio, and I get to play 2K on the weekends. So the weekends, they close this building down every weekend for non-essential workers. So at least I can get into the studio building every weekday, which is what I'm doing now. But I can't even get in here on weekends. So I'm home getting workouts in and playing 2K. So I haven't really spun up like my Netflix use or anything crazy. I'm watching the Last Dance documentary on Sunday nights. Ooh, I don't know if you've seen that on ESPN, but that's good.
Oh yeah.
And that's it, man. I'm still just building stuff, furniture.
You're like Bob the Builder, only you're Marquette the Builder.
Bob, exactly. I'm building.
So do you have like anything special planned to put in that studio now that you have like all the space? I've seen the pool table and different things like that, but I'm curious if you have like anything special planned that you weren't able to do in the old studio.
Definitely. I can't reveal too much. Like there's some stuff that's shown up in videos already, like little B-roll backgrounds. There's the pool table around the corner over here. Mm-hmm. There's the podcast studio is pretty sweet. Like things like I obviously didn't have a podcast studio before. So there's a bunch of stuff that I have to remember I didn't even have access to. This room back here is just for video gear. So before I had that wardrobe that was behind me in a lot of videos. And that was like all the video gear would go in there. And if it didn't fit, it would just be like sitting somewhere out in the studio, like a slider or the tripods or whatever. Now we have more space. So I get to like really build out like mainly a lot of shelves and just a whole bunch of other just great video production stuff. That's the exciting part up front to me, is really getting into building the ideal production space. And then, yeah, there's some other hush stuff that I haven't like talked about yet, but that's going to show up. So yeah, it's gone pretty good. Okay. Slowly but surely.
Gotcha. Man. Yeah, like I said, you always stay busy. And I had a question. I just completely lost my train of thought. Damn it. All right. I'm pretty sure it'll come back to me at some point. But you got the OnePlus 8 Pro, obviously. I know you are a big OnePlus fan. So how are you liking that device?
Yeah, it's good. This is my daily at the moment. I'm also testing this guy, the Nubia, the 5G, the 144 hertz phone, potentially for the next video. It's been really fascinating, actually. But yeah, I'm a fan of the OnePlus 8 Pro. So far, it's been, I think, 2 software updates deep, and the camera's continuing to get better, and there's just a pretty complete experience. So that's where my SIM card's at right now.
So I know you're running that 120 hertz on the OnePlus 8 Pro with the Quad HD resolution. How is that on your battery life?
It's fine. So I've settled into now like a pretty good routine where like I will get to like 30-ish% by the end of the day, before I drive home day, like 7 p.m. And then I will either wireless charge or charge in the car ride home. And then I'll have like 50-something% to end the day. So I'm not like worried about battery. I've said in the review, like there's some phones that have such a great battery life that you don't have to worry about like the way you use your battery. Wow, that was fast. I feel like that wasn't half an hour, was it? Some phones have like a big battery where you don't have to worry about the charging. Other phones charge so fast or so effortlessly and conveniently that I don't even care how good the battery life is because I can just have it charged up whenever. So this is one of those phones where like warp charging is great. I have it in the car. I'm pretty much set like regularly.
Gotcha. Okay, that's good to hear. Because that's a big thing with most of these newer phones coming with the 120 hertz refresh rate. How will that impact the battery if you're using it at the full Quad HD resolution? So it's nice to hear that. Seems like that will be okay. I know that's a big thing with Apple right now, That's a big deciding factor whether or not they're going to include 120 on the new iPhone. Can they keep that battery life at a reasonable pace? So that's what's up. So I know you are a big Red fan. You shoot with Red cameras and things like that, but I also know you own Canons and you own Sony. I'm pretty sure the camera nerd will be interested in getting your thoughts on the whole Canon versus Sony debate. Do you have a preference either way?
Generally, I don't think I have like a brand preference between the two. I know my EOS R sits here on my desk. That's like my go-to photo camera right now. It was the Hasselblad for a while, but like that camera's so finicky. Like it's fun, but as far as just like a go-to, quick, reliable, good color science, good autofocus, point, shoot, get good shots, like EOS R, and I have a couple RF lenses. That's been great. There's no reason I couldn't replace it with like, an A7R today, but that's just what I use right now. And there's a couple good Sonys that I've used for video, handheld video in the past. So right now it's EOS R.
Okay. And that seems to be a popular phone among the Canon heads. So nothing wrong with that. I finally figured out what I was going to ask you. So when we get to the other side of this pandemic and we're allowed to move to and from about, what is the first thing that Marquez Brownlee goes to do?
Like travels or something that I just couldn't do?
Something that you just couldn't do or can't do now.
Definitely Ultimate. I'm going. I think this is the longest I've gone without playing Ultimate in. Oh my God. I didn't even think about that. This is probably the longest I've gone without playing Ultimate in 14 years.
Wow.
Or something like that. Just because we always have League in the off season in the winter. And we always spin up, right around this year. This is when the pandemic started kicking in, but we were spinning up our regular season in like March, and tryouts right before that. And so there's no real like break from Ultimate ever. I haven't actually played Frisbee in like a month and a half, maybe 2 months since our last practice, and I cannot wait to get back. So that's the number one thing. And we would have been mid-season right now. We had our Raleigh game would have been last weekend. I think that'll be traveling. That'll be everything.
See, I know why you like to play Ultimate Frisbee. I've seen the highlights. I see how you like to go out there and jump over grown men, making them look like boys. I've seen what you do. I've seen these Randy Moss antics that you do out there on the Ultimate Frisbee field. But I'm going to need you to take care of yourself. We need you in the tech space. No injuries. None of this crazy stuff, man. I'm going to need you to tone it down.
Yeah, I've had my fair share of injuries. I've been pretty lucky to not get injured too much in my career, but they will catch up to you if you go crazy for too long. So I hear you.
No doubt, man. But I mean, you're young. You got your whole life ahead of you. So don't listen to me. I'm just messing around with you. But I do have another interesting question. I've been watching you for a long time. And as far as I can tell, I have never seen you get like really animated per se. There was the one video about the pixel slate that you just went completely off because you just thought it was a complete just waste of time and things like that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I have not seen you get like really animated. So I'm curious, Marquez, what is something that could cause you to go into Viper mode? And when I say Viper mode, I mean get the decibel levels up, get a little animated, just go a little crazy. What makes Marquez mad? Like, what could cause Marquez to take it to another notch that we've never seen before on the YouTube platform?
It's funny. I don't know if you'll ever see it on YouTube, but when you brought that up, it takes me back to, I think the most animated I ever get is definitely when playing Ultimate. And when I was in college Marquez on the field, captaining that team around, trying to drag this team to nationals was like pretty, like, I mean, I'm not like a tyrant, I'm not like, making people run sprints for no reason, but like I can get pretty animated. And I remember this game, either my sophomore or junior year, where, spirit of the game is a pretty big deal in Ultimate, but I won't even name this team, but this college we were playing against in this late tournament game, I think it was the finals, started getting really chippy and a little too physical with my teammates and me, and started laying out. And there's this one play in the end zone where there was a foul call, but then we threw it in, but then they started stalling before, basically almost breaking the rules. And I kind of got mad, and it was like a switch flipped, and there was no throw that I did not leave my feet and basically try to get a D on this disc, because I was like, I cannot have you thinking you have any shot. That maybe that's the most animated you would see me is like on a field. I don't know if I'll ever be like on camera, like ranting about how bad some tech is. Cause I feel like I think about things for so long that I'm like, I could see why it's this trash. Like maybe it's not, maybe it doesn't deserve a rant, but I think that's funny. The Pixel Slate might be one of the most negative recent videos. But you could go Viper mode in a positive way, You could be so
absolutely.
happy. Mm-hmm. I think when I get the Roadster and I start doing those like 0 to 60s with the reactions, I might get a little crazy with that. That might be fun. So now, it could be positive.
Now, is the Roadster coming this year or next year?
It's next year. It's at least next year, right? Elon went on the Joe Rogan podcast recently, and Joe asked about it. And he said, which is coming first, Cybertruck or Roadster? And Elon was like, after some hesitation, he's like, yeah, the Roadster's dessert. We should probably focus on the Cybertruck first. And the Cybertruck's already 2021 to 2022.
Right.
So Roadster, by the time they get done with Model Y and the semi-truck and the Plaid Model S and the Cybertruck, and Roadster is a long way out. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to hold my breath anymore. I like seeing it at the events and I like looking at it, but I gotta just take a break and come back in a year or two. And I actually think it's coming soon.
Gotcha. So while we're on the topic of Tesla, let's talk about your boy Elon. He been going a little crazy lately, man. Talking about on Twitter how he wants the stock pricing to fall and then they just plummet. Then he goes to name him baby some alien coded name and things like that. Now he's talking about moving Tesla out of California. Marquez, you got a relationship with the man. What's going on with Elon, man? What's in his head? What's going on?
I guess, when you just look at the Tesla stuff, it's like, obviously that's a company that's like, it's been teetering on the brink of existence for like a decade. Mm-hmm. And, other car companies in the same spot as Tesla have literally gone out of business and died. It's a cutthroat industry where there's people at your neck, whether it's a pandemic or not. They're trying to steal your tech, steal your employees, trying to get their factories back up and running, whether they're in California or not. And when you're stressed out in that position, I'm not trying to defend anything he's doing or saying, because clearly he's gone a little crazy, but put yourself in those shoes. You are the CEO of this company and you just need to start, pushing back to keep this company alive. And there's just a lot going on in that dude's head. So I don't know about the name and the baby. I don't know about the rest of that stuff. That's a little beyond what I'll even speculate about, but hey, Tesla's in a tight spot.
That's fair. That's definitely fair. But yeah, it's just the whole leaving California and things like that. It's a little crazy, but I think I was talking to somebody about this before, and I said that when you are a genius and you're that much smarter than most people around you and things like that, sometimes you could get a little lost in your own head because you don't really have anybody on your level that you could communicate with that can understand you per se. So sometimes I can see why geniuses might go a little mad because, sometimes it's hard being at the top and being the only one there.
Sometimes I think about YouTube comments. How you'll publish a 9-minute video and then the first 6 minutes are all people commenting who didn't watch. Mm-hmm. And you're like, why would you even comment yet? There should be 0 comments until 9 minutes in. I feel like that's how Elon looks at the everyone reporting on stuff he does. People will just snap. He tweeted something, here's an article. Blah. Mm-hmm. Why don't you take a couple minutes and read the facts around it, information? There's a whole ecosystem of things people don't consider when just reacting to one tweet. So he'll tweet something like, yeah, I'm considering leaving California. And if you just stop there and just form your opinion, write an article and leave, that's kind of like leaving a comment without watching the video. If you actually read into, it's because he's got these thoughts on the legislation in the county that the Fremont factory is in about how he's operating safely. He wrote, I don't know if he wrote it, but Tesla published a whole blog post the other day about how they plan to reopen safely and minimize the chances of, the virus in the factory. So I don't know. There's just a whole wide world out there, and I don't know if I want to say he's a misunderstood genius, but there's just a lot of context that gets shoved under the rug sometimes.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to people like commenting on things that they don't have the complete context of, and it gets a little out of hand, definitely, especially when people don't have the whole details of the story and things like that. So if you've been on YouTube for 10, 11 years now, you've had massive success on the platform, but I'm curious, is there anything about being a YouTuber or a content creator that just gets on your nerves, like you hate it, and it's like, ugh?
Man, I don't think so. Like I've just been thinking lately, like how great it is to have this job.
Mm-hmm.
So to think of like stuff that gets on my nerves, it's probably like the comments again. Like you'll title a video something where like the first 20 minutes of comments are going to be about the title because they didn't watch it, and then they're going to get upvoted to the top because the first thing people do is scroll down to the top comments. So like I'm not like mad at that. I totally understand it, but it's like all right, let's get it over with. Let's get the reactions out the way. Now let's watch the video. That's maybe the comment section sometimes is frustrating.
Absolutely. One of the worst things for me personally is when someone asks a question that I clearly answered in the video, which tells me you did not watch the video. Had you watched the video, you wouldn't be asking these questions that I clearly answered in the damn video, Marquez. Why don't they watch the video?
My number one rule with that is I don't engage with them at all. As soon as there's a comment from someone who clearly did watch the video and has something to say about the final point made at the end of the video, I'm replying to that guy. I'm talking to that guy. And so maybe the people replying just to get attention or just to get a reply will realize that it's not going to work unless they actually watch the video and get something out of it. So that's my rule. Pro tip.
You know what? I like that rule because people that come to your comment section just to bring drama and just be crazy and goofy, they don't need our time. We don't have enough time into this. Life's too short. We are too busy as it is already. Yeah. Whoo! Oh man! Oh my goodness! Mm-hmm. What a time we live in. So let's talk about that real quick. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. So I'm curious to get your thoughts as to when do you think we will go back to some sense of normalcy? Because obviously, even when the pandemic we're on the other side and people are going out and about again, it's not going to be normal. There's still going to be a lot of people, myself included, who are going to be afraid to like congregate with a large mass of people because we don't know. We just don't know. So what are your thought process about that? How do you feel about life after the pandemic? Well, I should say the immediate life after pandemic.
Yeah, that's a $1 billion question that is so difficult to answer because there's so many unknowns.
Yep.
I would almost throw it back at you. I was having a conversation in the Slack not too long ago about, do you think there will be a CES next January?
I don't think so.
And like, you think about like, all right, that's a couple months away. Like there's still time for things to settle down, but like that is the absolute, we talk about the CES bug every year, this flu people get. That is the absolute worst case scenario thing to do right as we're getting off of a global pandemic is fly people in from literally all over the world to one convention center, have them all interact with each other and touch things, get way too close together in one dry city, and then fly home back to their own countries. I don't think we can do CES next year, right? Like that's insane. So that's already January of next year. You're thinking, okay, so the NBA wants to start their season again, but do they do it with no fans? And then they delay the start of next season. But then, so now next season's thrown off. And like, there's so many things that are not going to be the same ever again. And so many things that are just not normal. The UFC is doing fights now, but with no fans. So like the microphone picks up like every punch super well. You hear, I don't know if you saw cards like those. Oh man, that's pretty brutal stuff. So I don't know. Things will probably never be the same, quite the same as they were before this. But I don't even know if there's any way to answer. Like, when are things going to be? When are we on the other side of it? I don't know. 2020. When the Roadster comes out.
When the Roadster comes out.
When the Roadster comes out.
So we got a question in the chat. So I'll kind of take piggyback off of that. When will Marquez feel comfortable going to large gatherings and events? When do you think you'll feel comfortable doing that?
I have never really been comfortable at those events. I don't know. It depends on what's happening at the event. So, meet and greets are basically like people line up to shake your hand. So that's that's going to be a long time.
Right.
You can still get on stage to do stuff, but when you get in the audience, you're sort of packed in. You're close to people. I don't know if I trust the average person not to cough on me. Like, it's going to be a long time before people really do universally feel like comfortable. And there's different cultures where this has been a thing for a long time. I mean, people wear masks. In plenty of Asian cultures, they've worn masks anyway, just because there's smog, and like if you're sick, you don't want to get other people sick. Like, they just will wear a mask on every time you're on public transport anyway. Like, maybe that's the way we should be from here on out. I don't know if there's a solution to never having this happen again, but there's a lot of unknowns.
Yeah, man, I'm with you, man. I'm not, even when we're on the other side, I'm not going to be feel comfortable going out into mass gatherings in the public, not right away anyway. Yeah. I'm going to need some time because it's like you said, there's just too many unknowns. We don't know what we're up against still. And by that time, there won't be a vaccine for the thing that's happening. So, yeah. Right. All right, so I got a couple of questions for me personally. I am just curious, how does one get Mkbhd to follow them on Twitter?
That's it's been I don't follow that many people. It's mostly just if I really like the tweets.
Gotcha.
I like them so much I don't want to miss them, then I'll follow.
Gotcha.
I don't think I have any rule for that. I just sort of follow what's interesting. Same with Instagram. My sister was so mad at me for so long because she was like, "I'm your blood. Why don't you follow me on Instagram?" I'm like, I don't really like your tweets. Like, I don't have to follow you just because you're my sister. Eventually, I had to figure out what she was tweeting about, so I followed her.
You even did your own sister dirty? Oh man,
she didn't tweet. What was I gonna do? Follow nothing? So,
oh man, yeah. You probably get sick of me, man. I kind of tweet a lot sometimes.
Okay, some people tweet like too much, and I have to unfollow. But I don't know. My feed's pretty ideal right now, I think.
That's what's up. All right. Got a few minutes left in the podcast. I'm going to open it up to a question from you guys watching the live stream. So if you have a question from my man Marquez, now is the time to state your piece, ask him what you want to ask him. Yeah, we got 82 people watching now. So this is definitely an ideal situation for you guys to get questions in, because if he was live streaming, you could forget about it.
I see the comments going. Somebody said, when the new iPhones come out, will there be hands-on with devices at the reveal? Man, that's a good question. The way Apple's been doing, their last couple releases, if they get really good at it, doing it virtually and then sending out review units, they probably don't have an event in September.
Or they'll have an event. It'll probably be virtual, and they might do like what they've been doing for the last few years and have like those private little meetups with influencers, like in a controlled environment. But as far as a regular event, probably not.
Yeah.
Okay. So the poll says, what are you looking forward to with the Samsung Galaxy Fold 2? Ooh, good question.
Yeah, I gave it a pass for no high refresh rate this first generation. I think it would be nice to see a high refresh rate, but I'm not too concerned about that. I really just want the big bezel-less like front. So when you look at the front of the Galaxy Fold 2, the Galaxy Fold is obviously a little archaic looking. That being a downside of the design. So if they could stretch out those front screen, that would be nice. And just generally clean up the design, because that bezel on the cutout in the top corner is a little weird. Just clean up the design generally. I think a design improvement would be something I'd like to see.
All right, so we got I just thought of a question I'm gonna ask you, because this is kind of a joke that's been going around lately. Are you familiar with who Greg Gadgets is, Marquez?
Greg's Gadgets, no.
Okay, he is an Apple YouTuber. Apparently, he made a thumbnail for one of his videos, and he was kind of shocked when it somehow made its way inside of your video. So I think we were kind of joking around. Wait, how did Marquez find that thumbnail? Like, did he just Google search it, or did he watch the video? No, I don't know. We were just curious about what happened with that, or how did that come to be? I don't remember what thumbnail was.
Which video? I don't know.
But yeah, I think it was a thumbnail. I think it was like with all the iPhones up there, and I think somebody was photoshopping. I don't know, something like that. I don't know.
Oh, is it either the iPhone SE or I don't know?
Yeah, one of your recent videos. I'm not sure. Let's see.
We're talking about. Oh, I gotta look back at my own videos.
Sorry. Somebody wants to know which system do you play 2K on?
PS4.
PS4. Okay.
PS4.
All right. Let's see what else we got here. I'm not gonna ask that one. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah.
How are you coping with not having your usual fade with the barbers? I am dying here, man. It's a rough life.
Oh man, definitely.
You get when this is picked out, it's like who has an afro now? No one has afros anymore, but it's like a real afro. It's crazy.
James says you've been consistent with tech for a long time. Do you ever feel pulled to try other types of content?
Yeah, I have. So, I mean, I'm interested in the tech of other things too. So, like, we've done autofocus videos. Obviously, you can't really do autofocus videos by yourself, but car stuff has been interesting to me for a little while now. So that I've been into. Yeah, that might be it. Like, I don't really get into like gaming videos or cooking videos or anything else like that. It's mostly just the tech stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yo, Rashid, thank you for the super chat, sir. I appreciate you. Supporting as always. El Jefe said, great stream. Mark is always a great guest, and Viper always keep a good conversation. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you. Roberto wants to know, thank you, Roberto. He said, would you be willing to do a meme for front page tech video?
Do a meme. Sure. I don't know what that entails, but I'm always down for a good meme, as you can tell by the videos and the random GIFs from the videos.
All right, so Greg said I think it was a thumbnail about the iPhone 12, and it somehow made its way into one of your videos. So I don't know about that.
The iPhone 12.
Okay, all right. Oh, Jonathan Viper rocking the Sony. What headphones does Mkbhd have on?
Sennheiser HD820S, I believe.
Some big old headphones. My God, whew. The dude has a literal studio on his head, literally.
It's great.
Somebody wants you to give them your PlayStation name. I don't think we're gonna be doing that here.
Oh, I know what it is. I found it. So the iPhone, I re-reviewed the iPhone 11 Pro after 6 months, and I talked about the iPhone 12.
Okay.
At the end of that video.
Gotcha.
I think that was. I have a deep fusion slide. I have a sweater mode slide. I have a Twitter slide.
All right.
I have an Everything Apple Pro video where he has the iPhone 12 renders and those CAD models. He's been on a roll with those actually for a while.
Oh yeah, he's been doing good with those, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so the poll wants to know, you and Casey did a killer old school tech video. Will you be doing more collabs with Casey?
Collabs with Casey. Well, Casey's in California now, so it's kind of hard to do collaborations with people in California. I would love to. Casey's always good for a good collab, but obviously it was going to be a while before we collab with people in California.
El Jefe says you need a real amp for the headphones you got on your head, so I'm guessing you're running them through some type of amp or something, right?
Yeah, the Apollo Twin here on my desk powers the Yamaha monitors and the headphones.
Roberto says he thinks those are 2G. Holy Lord. Wow.
Yeah, I did a video on them.
Okay.
I did a video on these cans.
Okay. Somebody thinks you've been using the Pixel 4a for 3 weeks now. I've heard nothing about that.
I cannot say what I've been using.
He cannot tell. He'd have to kill you. Let's see. All right. CH Gadget says you have a lot of great videos about you have a lot of great video and audio gear. Everything about doing a short film and enter it.
Yeah. So I do have a lot of great gear for making short films, but I'm always so much more interested in making videos about tech. The retro tech stuff was the closest we ever got to short films, but that wasn't me using my gear. That was like a whole team effort. So I could be interested in figuring out like a way to take the problem with making a short film is it takes so long. So like taking a while, like weeks at a time behind the scenes to make a video. But yeah, I think that'd be something I consider.
Okay. They want to know your thoughts on the rumor Apple AR glasses.
There's not that much floating around yet, is there? I mean, people have been thinking about that for ages. Kind of like Apple making a car. Like, what do you think about the rumored Apple car? I mean, it would be cool if they made one. I don't really know much about their plans for it, but AR glasses, they would have to be something on the level of like what they've been doing with iPad Pro and LiDAR. They would have to probably rope in some of that stuff too. They'd probably be one step above Animoji, but I don't know what the killer app would be for a pair of Apple AR glasses. Maps?
That would have to be a start, definitely, absolutely.
Maybe.
Travis, can Mkbhd help me finally cancel Greg? Oh God. Oh, crazy Travis. LeBaron, thank you for the support, LeBaron. Always support, man. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Marquez, I don't know if you're aware, but our buddy LeBaron here is the owner of a popcorn franchise called Popcorn World. They have delicious gourmet popcorn. I have had a ton of it in my time, and it's amazing. You should definitely hit them up and get yourself some.
This is a good time to have popcorn.
It is. It is. You should definitely try some. I would highly recommend it. Highly.
All right.
Let's see what we got here. Jack Culture says, should I wait for the Sony WH-1000 XM4s or go with the XM3s?
The question with that always depends on the cadence of the release. I actually don't know the cadence of release with those. I'm sure we're expecting a new one at some point, given the state of things, maybe not right now. But when that comes out, the price of the XM3s will go down. But the XM3s are amazing. So I don't really have any complaints. I think maybe multi-device support is the only thing that's missing. So if they do add that, then I guess I would regret recommending the Mark III, but they're pretty good at everything else.
No doubt. Okay, let's see. 504, the super chat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Roberto said he would love a short film on the history of Apple products or even on the Tesla from you. Ooh, that would be interesting.
Tesla, I think I could speak to. Apple's been around longer than I've been around, so it's hard for me to go. That's when like retro tech comes in, the research, the interviewing people going back. But I've kind of seen the rise of the entire history of Tesla, so that could be interesting.
All right, Mark. This site right here, this is where you can go to check out all the 250 flavors of popcorn LeBaron has. Like I said, I would highly recommend you go take a look.
You said 250 flavors?
250 flavors, Marquez, and it's all good.
I can't even name 150 flavors. Okay.
Yeah, you should.
I remember that.
Definitely checking it out, man. Definitely check it out. Okay, let's see. Oh, great. We got Greg. Greg said, instead of canceling me, let's grab lunch or dinner at Tops after the pandemic, Marquez. Oh, okay.
All right.
There you go. Thank you, Greg, for the super chat. Matt McCourt, thank you. What's up, gentlemen? Been looking forward to this. Let's keep it up. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. I'm not going to hold Marquez too much longer. I know he's a busy man. Oh, we got a request for a John Prosser versus Mkbhd tech fight. Are you familiar with what tech fights are, Marquez?
Oh, no, I was going to ask, what is a tech fight? What does that mean?
Okay. So our boy Tech King Mike, he has on his channel, he does this thing called Tech Fights. Basically, it's a one-on-one debate about technology. Basically, he'll have like a general topic, like let's say Apple or iPhone, and then he'll ask both contestants a bunch of questions, and they have to pick a side. So if the question is Apple better after Steve Jobs, one person will have to pick yes, and the other person will have to pick no, and then they'll have to argue whatever side they pick. And they got judges and everything. It's kind of amazing, man. You should definitely check them out, man. I'm about to let you know when the next one is, but
that sounds interesting. I would watch that more than be on it. I think I would just watch those. I think if I got to pick the side, I'd probably have a good shot.
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes you can pick the side, and sometimes you can't, depend on if you win the round or not. But the next time you have one, I will definitely tag you and let you know so you can watch it.
I'm really good at sarcastically arguing. So if someone gives me a side that I don't like, I can really, really sarcastically argue the other side.
Oh, I believe it, man. I believe it. Here we go. Yeah, there's Saturday Night Tech Fights. That's Mike, man. Check out his channel. Check out some of the past fights. Very entertaining stuff. Definitely. All right, Durian says, are you excited to see smartphones with under-screen selfie cameras? Ooh, all right.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if that's coming this year. There's some rumors about that, but obviously a full screen, having everything under the screen is great. So we got the fingerprint reader down there. That's good. It's just a CMOS sensor that's just reading, optically or with the what is it called? Ultrasonic fingerprint reader.
Yep.
That's all great. Now we're trying to get the whole camera back there behind the OLED, behind the glass. I could see it happening soon. But generally all that would be nice. The problem is I don't really care about selfie cameras that much. Like I don't take selfies all the time. So like the pop-up was cool with me, but
well, sure. You don't want to get the mohawk on camera, baby?
I don't take I take pictures of things more than I take pictures of myself. I don't even take pictures of that many people. That's something I have to do more. The more you look back at old videos of mine, the more you'll see I take a lot of test photos of objects and not a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's just because I don't want to put my friends on blast or like put them on a video without them asking. But like, I also don't want to take pictures of random people in the streets. So like, I don't take pictures of people that much. Gotcha. But maybe soon.
All right. So the next tech fight is this Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern on this dude's channel. So like I said, I'll probably tag you if I remember. You should definitely watch. Fun stuff, man.
Check it out, yeah.
It's fun stuff. Let me see. Anything else before we got here? Oh, TechMan wants to know, will you be trying out Soundcore earbuds?
I just got put onto those. I think they're actually trying to send a pair, so I plan on trying them. Yeah.
Oh, Roberto wants to know, have we hit peak personal tech? I don't think so.
I don't know if we ever. Tech is one of those things where you never really hit peak. Now, if you zoom out for a while and you go back to like the 1920s, and you're like, well, now clearly we've hit peak. Kind of feels like it, but I'm always interested in what's around the corner. There's always something to surprise you.
No doubt. And on that note, I'm going to pause it there. Thank you guys for watching the live stream today. Thank you to my man Marquez for supporting. Thank you guys for those of y'all that super chatted, and for those of y'all that became channel members today. Thank you so much. If you're listening on audio only and you would like to support the podcast, please check the link in the description. Also, if you listen to this on Apple Podcasts, please consider giving me a rating or review. It does help more people discover the VypDrive podcast. But thank you very much again. I'm gonna get my man Marquez out of here. But for those of y'all watching on YouTube, make sure you come back in about a couple of hours, because I will be joined by Technically T. But until the next time, people, this your boy Viper, the man about tech. You know where to find me. So come back for more.